Alright, hey guys! So, today I'm doing, as promised, a sort of DECA experience, story time kind of thing. So I'm making this because I feel like I would have watched something like this before I went to DECA, so this might be educational. So a little backstory. So I'm in year 12. This is my first year doing DECA as well as my school's first year doing DECA. That kind of explains why it was incredibly unorganized and kind of a mess. But anyways, so I'll start from the very beginning, from before regionals, because that's what happened first. I signed up. I didn't even hear the announcement for it, but my friend did, so I had heard of it because I knew people from other schools that had done it, but I didn't really know what it was. I knew that I had the written test. Basically how the written test works is you do it, or at least this is how it is in my region. Different regions are a little different, I think. But we wrote the written test in like mid-November, or maybe even earlier, like early November or something. 100 multiple choice questions on so I'm in the marketing cluster, so it was in general like marketing and business knowledge, and basically most of it was common sense, but some of the stuff was something like you might learn in like a business course or something. I had never taken a business course before. I take business leadership now, but at that point I had only done 2 months of it. We hadn't really done anything, and most people had either taken like a marketing course or like grade 10 business, like accounting, like something. So I was like kind of the odd one out because I had never taken a business course before. We did the written test. It was like really chill. It was pretty easy. We had like an hour to do it. We just did it in our own school. The server crashed for some people, not at my school but in other schools, so that sucks. For us it worked completely fine. And so you basically have any time during the day to do it, but everyone like group at your school has to do it in the chapter. That's what it's called. Gotcha. Thought we were told that the results from the written test was what's going to get us to regionals, and we needed, or to provincials or something, I don't know. Basically that's not true. The written test is worth 1/3 of your mark, and then your oral events are worth the other 2/3. And then we had our regionals in November, like end of November, I guess. You have to like dress in like completely like businessy clothes, stuff like that. It was in a high school, like kind of near me. It was pretty like chill. They tend to run early, I find. For other events that's not true, but for mine they definitely ran early. They let us in earlier than our call time was. So my call time I think for regionals was like 10:30 or something. You're supposed to get there like half an hour early. I was there, and then they call you in. This is, oh by the way, I'm in food marketing. That's like FMS is my event. They call you in. I did 10 minutes to prepare like a project plan for a case study that they give you. So like for that one, I don't even know if I'm allowed to say it. What are they gonna do? I'm done now. So mine at regionals was basically about like I worked at a grocery store chain, and we had a lot of like specified parking spots for not just like people like with handicap permits, but also for like pregnant women and like a lot of different things that might not necessarily have like a permit for, but we have like prioritized parking for that. I basically had to come up with a project plan because people started complaining about the parking spots, and I had to like come up with a plan to like deal with that. You get 10 minutes to prepare. For me, those 10 minutes went by, literally felt like 3. And then you present it to a judge. It's like I always thought that it was gonna be like me standing in front of like a panel of judges, and it was gonna be like really stressful, but it really wasn't. My judge was a little like, I don't know, he just kind of like was looking at me really confused the whole time. He was like, and I was like, sorry, I'm just trying to explain myself. So basically some of the things that you have to hit are the performance indicators. This stuff you can definitely find online. I didn't. I did no studying beforehand. I studied a little bit for the written exam, and I did like 2 case studies before regionals, but I didn't really know what I was doing. So what most people do is they get their piece of paper. You have to bring your own piece of paper and pen, and you get their piece of paper. They split it into 6 sections by the different performance indicators, and they read the case and separate their project plan based on those performance indicators. I didn't know that until my very last case study, but that's fine. They mark you based on how well you hit those, based on your like 21st century skills. This stuff you could easily find online, and I don't really know that much about it because I'm not very good. I did that, and then there was awards later on the day. I did not go to them because I didn't think I'd win anything, but I ended up getting like top 10 in the written exam for my category, which was like really random to me, so I got a ribbon. A few days later, we got our results from regionals, and we found out that, oh, like most of the people from my school made provincials. And so to make provincials, you have to come in the top something. I have no clue what the number is. Top something in the province or in your region or something. I really don't know. But they basically take your written score and your oral score, combine them together. They're like both like percentages, and then that score is what determines if you're making it on. Before I might have contradicted myself, but I'm pretty sure that's what it is. My grades were not good in this. Like I never thought I would have made it on with the like marks that I did. So I got on written, which got me top 10. I got a 79, which is like not even good. And then on the oral, I got a 62. So that means I had a 141, I'm pretty sure. At this point, I knew that I made it onto provincials, and my teacher was like offering to do like help every week, but it was never like set in stone when we were gonna be doing it. So me and my like 2 friends, Abby and Julia, you saw them in the vlog, we didn't really prepare that much just because we never expected to like make it on. And honestly, I didn't even really know that much about the whole competition. I was kind of shocked that when I made provincials, we thought it was like easy to make provincials or something after we made it. This sounds so annoying, but like we literally didn't try at all, and like some people try really hard and don't make it, and that kind of sucks. But anyways, we didn't prepare. Like I don't know about them. They say they didn't prepare. I don't know how much they actually did, but I didn't look at a case study, didn't look at a practice exam, nothing after regionals. And so then this past weekend was provincials. Provincials was in Toronto. You can stay in a hotel. We didn't. There was a fiasco there, but we didn't stay in the hotel. If you stay in the hotel, there's like a dinner you go to and like all this stuff. I'm gonna tell you my experience from not staying in a hotel, and I'm very uncomfortable. Basically, so my call time Friday, Saturday, and if you're staying in the hotel, then you would arrive on Thursday. Friday, I had 2 case studies, 2 like oral events. My first call time was at 11:10, and my second one was at 3:35. So you have to show up half an hour early. I show up usually like 45 minutes early. So at the place where I was, it was this long hallway that was right on the outside of the like grand ballroom at the hotel. Each door was marked off as a different event. So there was like apparels and accessory marketing, entrepreneurship, sports and entertainment, and then mine was food marketing. It was all in alphabetical order. There were the like individual ones on one side and then the group ones on the other side, but they all went into the same room eventually, I'm fairly sure. And then like other events were on like the other side of the hotel. There's usually a lot of people because there's like 130, 140 people in each event. Pretty sure about that. There's 137 in my event, so that's what I'm going off of. But so you get there. I was there pretty early. I like talked to Abby, I talked to Julia about their events because their call times were earlier than mine, and I get there at like 10:30, and there's a lot of people waiting outside of like your area for a while. They suggest that you do coat check. I didn't. They're like, you have to coat check, you can't leave your bags on the ground. That's what they actually said, but then you get there and everyone's leaving their bags on the ground, so like don't worry about that. You can literally leave them wherever as long as like you feel okay doing that with your stuff. Each call time's 15 minutes apart, pretty sure. Basically when you're standing out there, for me, I didn't feel nervous. I know a lot of people definitely did. I just didn't, especially before my first one, didn't care how it went. I was just like, I'm impressed that I made it this far. I don't really care. But a lot of people did feel nervous, and that's like totally normal. And then eventually someone like working there will come out. It's usually like a teacher or like a parent or something who like might be judging or just kind of like officiating. So they'll call all the people in your call time. So in each call time there's 10 people, and because there's 10 judges. So the rules changed a little bit this year. So basically the top 10 people in each event would move on to ICDC, which is like the like nationals, but it's all the states and then Ontario, and it's in Orlando. Yeah, it's in Orlando. I don't know why I started with that. It's in Orlando. It's like a 5-day event. I don't know much about that. It just looked really fun, so I was like, I want to go. And so each judge chooses their number 1 pick for who they want to move on. So they choose by scoring person, not like combined through all the judges. the top 10 people, it's the top person from each judge, if that makes sense. So although there were 137 people in my category, kind of I was only really going against like 13 people, because I was just going against all the other people that had my judge, if that makes sense. You're waiting out there, they call your name, you walk into the big ballroom, and it's each separated by event. So first, your group sits in 2 rows of chairs. You just sit there, and it's like you can like kind of talk quietly, but like people are usually kind of nervous, so like you don't really, but like sometimes you do. I don't know, it depends. Like you can talk, but like you're not like having fun while you're sitting in those chairs. After you're waiting there for about 10 minutes, so like I went in at 11:10, I waited in those chairs for 10 minutes. At 11:20, you moved to the next set of chairs that had a table. So there were 3 rows of tables for all 10 people. You sit there, and that's when you get the actual case, and you get to write it down. So DECA gives you this. If you make it to provincials, you get this, and so it's like a little like portfolio kind of thing. That's what it looks like. It comes with like a notepad, like a little thing, and a place to put your ID, which is actually really nice. You need to bring your ID. No ID, no compete. It says it everywhere. Like, you need your ID. Another thing people do is keep their ID in their like lanyard, just like in the back. Yeah, so like they also give you this a few days before, as well as like a wristband that I don't have right now. It tells you like where to go, like what school you're in, like where everything is for you. So that's really helpful to have. I sitting at the table, you get 10 minutes to do your case. My first case was about a like supermarket chain that wanted to like make more money on their like health and beauty care stuff, as well as their general merchandising, without discounting prices. So 10 minutes to prepare it. Again, what most people do is split it into 6 to do the performance indicators. I did not know this at this point, so I didn't do that. So I doubt I hit like any of my performance indicators. So that's really awesome. Then after that, everyone stands up. You stand in single file line, and you all walk down. And so I wish I could show you pictures, it's kind of hard to explain, but all the judges are separated by curtains, and so each judge there's a chair on each side of the table, and they have a table, and they have their marking stuff. You get your Scantron as soon as you sit down in those first chairs, so you give that to them. You always greet them with like a handshake and whatever. You have to keep it like you're in like a business meeting. You basically just start going with your plan. So you say your plan for a little bit, and then at the end, they'll usually ask you 3 questions. Sometimes they ask you less than that. Like I know in my first one, they only asked me 2 questions, and that usually happens because you already answered some of the questions in just saying your project plan, so they don't feel the need to make you repeat. If you get to the 9-minute mark, someone will come around saying like 1 more minute, and then you'll have to finish it, and then I've never gotten this far, but I'm assuming if you do make it to the 10-minute mark, they'll cut you off and you'll just have to go. So you give in your Scantron, you give in your notes. You cannot bring in any paper, no folded paper, nothing, and you can't bring out any of your notes afterwards. They didn't check my stuff at all, but I know for Julia's event, they like in-depthly like checked her portfolio to make sure she knows I'm bringing anything in or bringing anything out. So like, don't try to bring anything in, because you never know. Go back out, it's like pretty quiet in there, and you stand outside, and people usually start talking a little bit, being like, oh, like how was that for you, whatever. It's so many people trying to network, which is so not the mindset that I went into it with. I was just kind of in it for fun. It wasn't something I took super seriously. People will come up and talk to you about things so much. People don't, like in most situations like that, people don't do that. Like the amount of swim competition I was go to, like no one just comes up to you and starts a random conversation, but it happens so much there. I was done my first event, I skirted out of there, and then at my next call time I came back, did basically the same thing, but at this point you kind of know the people in your call time, so you can kind of be like, oh, like how is it, blah blah blah. Another thing, people are very competitive. People, one, like to throw you off. Pretty much everyone in my call time said that didn't study, they didn't study at all, but then they'd be like, oh, but I've also only done 20 case studies. And I'd be like, yeah, see, I've done 0. Okay, so I lost a bunch of footage, then I tried to refilm it, and it didn't work, and so now we're resorting to this. So basically, I just continued to talk about how I had the written event the next morning. It was like basically the same sort of exam as last time, 100 multiple choice, but on paper that time. You get 80 minutes to do it, and then the awards, where this woman was basically telling us that our pants were too tight and not business appropriate, which was like so dumb, because it's literally at the awards, like we were done, like anyways. Then the awards took actually forever. We got assigned seating. They had to go through top 15 in each oral event, and then in the written event as well, and then overall. So for each event, so it actually took like forever. We didn't win. Basically, that's it. And I recommend everyone does DECA and tries it out, even if you don't want to put that much work into it, because it is really fun and a good experience to like put on your resume and stuff. Thanks for watching. Like, subscribe. Bye.